Where we'll start out. Reached out too late to tell you comps. Good chance for it. Yeah. So I know that I took a few different approaches to trying to understand. We bought this property back in 2015. Really, I think what was made me think that maybe it's overpriced was there's a house that sold 4 days within when we purchased. We haven't really made any improvements on our house. That house has always been a lot nicer. It's the exact same neighborhood. Crestwich Estates one has about 20 homes in it. And so that was kind of the flag is, hey, you know, historically, it's our house. The one on show up in the comps that we didn't sell, they did list it last year, but it was 3267 Merlin. Listed it back early October for $499. Did not sell at $499. Did not sell last year. It sold January 20th. Went under contract December 20th, something along there. Sold for $435. That house. Larger, smaller size property, again, it's within Crestwich Estates. So I feel like I recognize it has to be something that would have sold last year. However, the fact that it did not sell at $499 and then it eventually dropped the price down to $435 where it finally did sell, to me is an indication. Then I looked at kind of the history of the neighborhood, and really I was looking at Crestwich Estates and up to over time. So 2015 when we purchased, the average 10 homes sold $60. 2020 and it was 95. 2021 125. 2022. I feel like you have to throw this number out, but it was 121, but there was only 3 homes that sold. 2 of them are street house. It's a flip house. Because it sold twice. That was the average, but yeah. But the only other one that sold it was pulling it from MLS, which I feel like there's and the thing with MLS that I noticed as I was doing that is it seems like square footage just seemed to grow. I think this realtor is trying to make a bigger, an extra $100 or $200 to anyway. I don't feel like it's right, but that seems like what happens. So I recognize that that's not maybe a great case. In Crestwich, the one that sold last year multiple times, 37 Merlin. Oh, no, sorry, that's not the right one. That's it's 3230 Nina. That one sold twice, and then one on Sun sold once. Sold for $522. Yeah, so last year's a little bit funny. So then I took one other approach. So I have this sheet that was given to me 7 or 8 years ago, and I've never updated this. It has kind of an appraisal sheet where you say, hey, the subject property, my house, the 4-bed, 2.5 bath, 2-car garage, and it just kind of goes down this. So I took and said, hey, 3267 South Martin, that one I recommend to sell this year, contract this year, and sell for 499. So I put 435. It's a 5-bedroom, so then there's $3,000 to sell the property for. That number is so old that maybe there's an adjustment there. But I have some sort of calculation. Got more bathrooms, so there's that. Got more above ground square footage. It's got less below grade square footage, so there's anyway, so it essentially calculates out and says, hey, if that one sold for 435, yours would sell for about 390. All you guys have the science to it, and your science is probably different than the realtor science. I don't really know if this one comes from a realtor. I couldn't find a lot of other 2-bedroom or units that were similar in size that were nearby. So then I pulled 2301 Craig Avenue. I would say that this is a lesser neighborhood, but it had a similar sized lot. It's also a 4-bed, 2.5 bath, 2-car garage, similar square footage, but it sold last year on November 10th for $385 with a $9,250 session. Similar comp. Because I don't really understand your guys' process. I'd really like to hear how it actually do.
I do actually have 32 15 properties. I just included in this analysis. I don't have these cells.
I sold twice, and it is
On that one.
yeah,
We've obviously realized
that's right here. That one just sold. It's actually a really
yeah, unfortunately now being divided.
That one sold January.
Yeah. However, it was on the market in October and didn't sell for $580. So I know that there's an adjustment. Prestwich Estates is an interesting little pocket. It's surrounded by a really nice. I think Prestwich Estates is also a nice neighborhood. We have a house that definitely needs flipped. Across the street from us, we have a house that there's a lot of like it was an architect's I'm an architect, but it was a different architect's sort of playland, and he just did a lot of weird things there, and the values are not the same as what's in kind of surroundings. I recognize that these are all 2-story houses, and I'd have asked for the, the adjustment, except for, the one that is nicer didn't even, when it went on the market, it didn't sell for $4.99. That was last year. I don't know how to.
You know this.
That one, so it's a 5-bed, 4-bath, 2-car garage. Above square footage, I have 3,330. And I think I pulled these from the 2-story or 2-story. And below 665. One's like a super similar comp, because when we bought the house and they sold for that part, like, this is the best comp that I'm ever going to find. But again, it's not a comp for 2022 according to sales data and Prestwich Estates. And essentially that little corner that I live in, where where I go to church and everything else, everybody decided not to sell last year. There's not great comps. Oh. Yeah, it was a little, every single house is different.
Going back to these, you can see them. Yes. Yeah. When I first saw that,
Well, it's so cool. You feel like the market shifted from home that was sold on Merlin Drive, didn't sell for $4.99. You feel like the market shifted for them over that. I guess it must have shifted immediately after they listed it from mine's valued at 570, or you can adjust 545. If mine's that much of a cream puff, carpet's still the same age as when we bought it. And then we did just do the kitchen this year. For that, white tile, disgusting stuff in between. That was bad. Like we really I don't know. When I compare my house to the one that didn't sell for $490, and then you're asking to value mine even at $545.
It's hard for us to know what factors, what we.
Right. I mean, maybe they didn't want to sell it yet until December. So maybe it needed to be in the next tax year.
It's really hard when there's not sale.
Right. Right. I feel like the fact that it didn't sell though is still an actual fact. And it didn't sell for $499, or it's better than mine. You know, I recognize it's kind of an unfair from the typical, but
Even if we utilize it, we wouldn't. Keep it sold in December, like we utilize that. Again.
well, I guess my question, like on that statement, increase the area. Oh my God, one of these. Close to
I'm
my
not
house.
familiar with more, when I become familiar with your home, I hate to because I look at your home. If we pull it up, it's gonna be safe.
So a 2-story in one neighborhood, a bunch of single story and sell.
It will, but I honestly think that if I was to put ranches in there, it would be. Ranches.
It doesn't change the press switch.
Our goal is to be as close. Again, we may have ranches that are sold near yours. If unfavorable to you, so
There wasn't any last year in Rose Park.
but I wouldn't want to use those two. Saying like, I appreciate the information you brought in based on true sales and the actual information for and all of that is done right.